Good morning and welcome to Master Talker online class. Today we'll be talking about the formulas that are attached to ellipse. An ellipse. Now the first formula you need to know is the equation of the ellipse. Now if this ellipse is parallel to x-axis, the equation will start from that x. So I'll have what? X minus h. Don't forget that x and h go together. All squared. All over what? A squared plus y minus k all squared over what? B squared is equal to what? 1. Now don't forget that a is always greater than b, and if a is greater than b, it means that the bigger number is dividing that x, so x is now small. So that ellipse is parallel to the small side, okay, the side with the smaller coefficient. So if it is now parallel to y-axis, so we are going to have y minus k all squared all over what? A squared plus x minus h all squared over what? B squared is equal to 1. And don't forget that a is always greater than what? B. So that is the first one you need to know. Now the next one you need to know is the center. Number 2. We have 12 things to know. Number 2 is the center. The center of everything, center. Don't forget, center is always what? H comma k. And it's the same thing here. H comma k. Sorry, H comma k. It doesn't change. So the next thing you're going to know is the foci. And I told that foci, C, we are adding C to the side it is parallel to. So since this thing is parallel to x-axis, which is H, so I'm going to have that my foci F should be what? H plus or minus, because they are two sides, don't forget. Plus or minus C, comma what? K. Don't forget. So you now have the same thing here. Foci F is what? H, comma, I'm now adding to the side of what? Y, which is what? K plus or minus C, comma, okay? Are you getting that now? So don't forget the formula for C, that C squared is equal to what? A squared plus A squared minus B squared, please. A squared minus B squared. How do you know that if it is minus or plus? From the equation. If the equation here is plus, like ellipse is plus, so here is what? Minus. But hyperbola is minus, so here will be plus. So that is that. So the next thing you're going to know is number 4 is the vertex. The vertex or vertices. Vertices is the plural. So the vertex here is V. If you remember vertex, Z vertex like this, or I think VER, sorry, vertex. But if you hear vert A, so you have what? H plus or minus A, comma K. You know that I'm adding to the side of H. Why? Because it is this side is parallel to S axis. So this side I'm going to have that what? V is what? H, comma K plus or minus A. Okay? So that is that. Are you getting it now? Number 5. You see, they are very simple to note. Number 5 is now the eccentricity. Eccentricity. Eccentricity is what? E. And E is simply C over A. Yes, don't forget C over A. So eccentricity, it doesn't change. The same thing, C over A. And don't forget how to get your C, please. Number 6. Number 6, you're going to get the major axis. Major axis. Major axis is what? Is 2A. Please, because A is always bigger than B. So major axis doesn't change. 2A for this side again. So, but we normally get the semi-major axis. Number 7. Semi-major axis. Semi-major axis is what? Divide this by 2. You have just A. The same thing here. Semi-major axis is what? A. It doesn't change. So the next one you're going to do is the minor axis. The minor. The minor axis is what? Should be what? 2B. The same thing doesn't change here. 2B. So the semi of it, semi-minor. Semi-minor is now divide this by 2, you have just B, which is what? B. So B is semi-minor, while A is what? Semi-major. So the next thing you're going to get is the length of latus rectum, number 10. Okay, length of latus rectum. Length of latus rectum. Don't forget. The length of latus rectum is 2B squared over A. Don't forget. 2B squared over A. Please, all this formula if you look at, if you solve it 2-3 times, you will memorize them. 2b squared over a. So don't forget, this is x-axis, y-axis. So number what now? Number 11. I told you there will be 15 in number. Number 11 is directrix. Equation of the directrix. Equation of directrix. Don't forget that we always get equation of directrix from the vertex. Yes, don't forget, it's always from the vertex. And so I'm having the vertex, we are adding a. So equation of the directrix from this side should be what? X, side of x is equal to what? H plus or minus a, but always add over e, please. That is just the difference, a over e. So this side will now be what? Y is equal to what? K plus or minus a over what? E. So we are always getting it from the vertex. Don't forget it, even in parabola we got it from the vertex. So number 12 you need to know is we've done equation of the electrics. This is 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12. Okay, there are 12. So the last one is now the conjugate of the equation. Conjugate of the equation. Now conjugate of the equation simply means if this is parallel to x, make it to be parallel to y. Just swap the denominator. Once you swap the denominator, you are okay. So for here, we are going to swap the denominator. Since conjugate means turn it around. So since this one is parallel to x, I'm going to have what? X minus h all squared. Instead of writing over a squared, now it will not be what? Over b squared, the small one, plus y minus k all squared over what? A squared is equal to 1. So this is the conjugate for this side. So for this side will not be what? Y minus k all squared all over what? B squared plus x minus h all squared over what? A squared is equal to what? 1. So that is that. Now we are going to solve some problems involving ellipse. We're going to solve some problems involving ellipse so that you understand. Can I clean here? Yes. Okay. Please, these formulas, write it down and memorize it. These are the only things they can ask you in exam about ellipse. Okay, apart from tangent to an ellipse. Okay, these are the only things they can ask you. So the first thing now, they said identify the conic. The conic, they now say 4x squared plus 9y squared is equal to 36. Then find number 1. Find the center II. Well, let me cut this. The center, the vertex, the foci, vertices, the foci, okay, eccentricity, length of latus rectum, VI, equation of directrix, any other thing, VII, minor and semi minor, major and semi major axis. So how many are there? 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. So the last one is 11. So 11 questions. Xi. I didn't get it right. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11. Okay. Ix. So the last question they can ask you is the conjugate conjugate of the equation. So the first thing we have to find is to identify what kind of equation is this. Now I told you that, how do you know that equation is an ellipse? An equation is an ellipse if the coefficient of x squared and y squared are not the same, but they are the same in their sign. Okay, if you look at it, this is 4 and 9, they are not the same, and this is plus plus, they are the same. Okay, so this is an ellipse. You can comfortably say that this is an ellipse. Now from this equation, even without solving anything, you ask yourself, where is this ellipse parallel to? This ellipse is parallel to the side with what? The greater denominator or the smaller coefficient, anyone you like. So let's divide everybody by this, because it must be equal to 1. That is the first step. So you have 4x squared plus 9y squared is equal to 36. So divide by 36. So that here must be equal to 1. That's the first step. Divide by 36 to have what? 4x squared over 36 plus 9y squared over 36 is equal to 1. So what do we have now? If you divide this, you have x squared over 9 plus what? Y squared over 4 is equal to what? 1. Are you getting that? So if you look at this, you see that what? That this ellipse is parallel to what? To the x-axis, because x has the higher coefficient. So you say that what? A squared is equal to 9, and what? If I write the equation, let me write the equation. Since there is no h here, it will be what? X minus 0 all squared over 9 plus y minus 0 all squared over 4 is equal to 1. So automatically you have that this is this, then your b squared is equal to 4. So your h is 0, h comma k is 0 and 0. Let's start solving. The first one is what? H comma k, the center, which is what? 0 and 0. Yes, that is it. The next one is the vertex. The vertex is what? Va. Don't forget va. A. You're adding a to the side parallel to x. So which is h. So you have h plus or minus what? A comma what? Comma k. So what do we have now? So this is equal to what? H is what? 0 plus or minus my a. From here, a is now the square root of 9, which is what? 3. From here, b is the square root of 4, which is what? 2. So I'm having plus or minus 3 comma 0. So you can separate it to be 0. You can separate it to be minus 0 plus 3. You can separate to v to be what? 0 plus 3 comma 0 and 0 minus 3 comma 0. So take the plus and take the minus, which will give you that v is what? 3 and 0 and what? Minus 3 and 0. So that is that. So the next one, I. Foci, chi. So c is what I'm adding now. So I have h plus or minus c comma what? K. So what am I having now? So my answer is now. So to get my c, don't forget that c squared is equal to what? A squared minus b squared. Please don't forget. C squared is equal to a squared minus b squared. So c squared is equal to what? 9 minus 4. So c squared is equal to what? 5. So c is now what? The square root of 5. So that is that. So my f is now 0 plus or minus root 5 comma 0. So that is that. You can separate it by yourself. IV said length of latus rectum. Length of latus rectum is equal to what? Don't forget 2b squared over what? Over a. Am I correct? Yes, I'm correct. 2b squared over a. So which is what? 2 bracket b is what? In fact, b squared is what? B squared is 4. 2 bracket 4 all over a is what? 3, which will give you 8 over 3. Okay. So the next one, v. V is the equation of directrix. Don't forget that equation of directrix is gotten from what? The vertex. So I have that what? Since it's facing x, I have that x is equation. So I start with what? X is equal to what? H plus or minus a over what? E. But we need to get our e. What is our e? E is eccentricity. E is eccentricity, and eccentricity E, where is the eccentricity IV? E is equal to what? C over A. C over A, which is what? Root what? Root 5 over what? A is what? Root 5 over 3. Okay, so let us now do it here. So our equation of directrix becomes x is equal to 0 plus or minus so plus or minus root 5 over 3 divided by, sorry, a first before the e. A is what? A is 3 times, if you put divide times, then swap it, times 3 over root what? 5, which is what? 0 plus or minus 9 over root 5. So that is the equation of the directrix. So you can do cross multiply and then get your answer. So let me just complete it. For v, I'm having x, 0 plus anything is the same thing, is equal to what? 9 over root 5. Cross multiply to have what? That root 5 x minus 9 is equal to 0. Minus plus or minus, don't forget. So that is that. You can separate it. The next one. So these are all the simple things they'll be asking you. But the problem is, do you know the formula? They are simple. But the problem is, do you know the formula? So we've gotten the major and the minor axis. Major axis is 2a. Minor axis is 2b. Semi is the a. So the conjugate is now swap it. Remember, it is x squared over 9 plus what? Y squared over 4 is equal to 1. So the conjugate is simply change the denominator. So the conjugate is going to be what? X squared over 4 plus y squared over 9 is equal to 1. That's all. Just swap the denominator, you get the conjugate. So that is that. So let's take one more question for ellipse. Then we are done for ellipse. One more question for ellipse. Okay, so let's take this question. It said 9x squared plus 4y squared plus 36x minus 8y plus 4 is equal to 0. Now, when you have an equation like this, then you are going to apply that completing the square method. Okay, whenever you have x again and y again, you know the other one there is no x and y, it's only squared, and that one is simple to get. But this one we're going to apply completing the square method. So the first question is this an ellipse equation? Let's check. The first thing you check is the coefficients, are they the same? No. Okay, good. The sign, are they the same? Yes, plus plus. So this is an ellipse equation, and there is no place I have x and y together. So this is an ellipse equation. So let us do the completing the square. Watch what I'm going to do, please. Let's take it step by step. Bring the x together. I have x 9x squared plus 36x together plus 4y squared minus 8y is equal to, take this man to this side, minus 4. Now, I told you that before you complete the square, that the coefficient must be 1. The coefficient of any one you want to do must be 1. But I can't say if I divide this everything by 9, there is a problem here. If I divide everything by 4, there is a problem here. So make everybody, do everybody by itself, by factorizing, bringing out 9. If I bring out 9 here, I'm having 9 bracket, divide everybody by 9. This divided by 9, x squared. You see the coefficient inside here is now 1. Plus, divide this one by 9, I'm having 4x. Plus, do the same thing here. Bring out your 4. So I have y squared minus 2y. Divide everybody by 4 is equal to minus 4. I'm talking about everybody inside the bracket, so that this time this is this time this is this. So we are going to do the completing the square method inside this place. So I'm going to have 9 bracket. Completing the square method said, find half of the coefficient of x, square it, and add it to both sides. So I'm having half of coefficient of x here is 4. Find it, then do what? Square it, and then add it to both sides. So half of 4 is what? 2. 2 squared. I'll carry this 2 squared and add to both sides. So I'm going to have s squared plus 4x plus 2 squared. I've done for this side. Plus 4 into y squared minus 2y. Let's do the same thing here. Half of coefficient of y now, not coefficient of s, and coefficient of y is minus 2 all squared. So half of minus 2 is minus 1 all squared. So let's add plus minus 1 all squared is equal to, so we have added them to this side. We are still going to add to the other side. So I'm going to have minus 4 is already here, plus what I'm adding is no longer 2 squared but 9 times that 2 squared. So 9 bracket 2 squared plus 4 bracket minus 1 squared. So I have added to both sides. So let us now do this. So bring your 9 down. Now the two people that have squared are x and plus 2. Put their squared outside, forget about the one in the middle. Plus 4 bracket, the same thing here. Y and minus 1. Then put their squared here, forget about the one in the middle. Is equal to what? I'm having minus 4 plus 4 times 9 is a 36. And this squared is 1. 1 times this I'm having 4. Okay, so I'm having 9 bracket x plus 2 all squared plus 4 bracket y minus 1 all squared is equal to 36 here. But this minus this is 0. So you see it's now looking like the other one. So let's divide everybody by 36 because I want here to be 1. So divide by 36. So I have 9 bracket x plus 2 all squared divided by 36 is plus 4 bracket y minus 1 all squared divided by 36 is equal to 36 divided by 36. So what do we have? We now have that the equation becomes x plus 2 all squared over 4 plus y minus 1 all squared over 9 is equal to what? 1. Now if you look at this equation, you ask yourself, where is this parabola, where is this ellipse facing, or where is this ellipse parallel to? I told you that the ellipse is always parallel to the side with the greater denominator. So since this side has the greater denominator, I'll write it first. Y minus 1 all squared over 9 plus x minus 2, x plus 2 all squared over 4 is equal to 1. So from here, I've gotten that my a squared is 9, where a is 3. Okay? So I have that a squared is 2, sorry, b squared is 2, yb, sorry, is 4. Yb is now what? The square root of 4, which is what? 2. Okay? My h and k. My k is what? 1, because here is always minus. Okay? So my h is not plus 2, but minus 2. Don't forget. Because the equation here is always minus. So you start with, okay, let me just do it like this. So always minus k is equal to minus 1. And minus h is equal to 2. So therefore k is 1 and h is minus 2. So that is how I got that. So let's start solving. Let's get our c immediately. Our c is equal to what? The square root of our c squared. Our c squared is equal to what? A squared. Since here is plus, minus b squared. So I have what? C squared is equal to 9 minus 4. So c is equal to the square root of 5. Okay? So the center. So we should find the center. H comma k, which is what? The center h comma k is what? 1 and minus 2. Okay? The next thing they say we should find is what? The vertices. Va, you are adding a to the side. It is parallel to, so it is parallel to y axis. So I'm adding a here. So it should be what? H comma k plus or minus va a. Okay? Which is what? H is 1 comma minus 2 plus or minus my a is 3. Okay? So you can now separate it. If you separate it, you have that the first v is 1 comma minus 2 plus 3 will give you 1. And the second one will be what? 1 standing here. Minus 2 minus 3 will give you minus 5. So these are the two of them. So the next one is foci. Foci, there is c, and you're adding c to the side. It is parallel to. So I have h, foci c. So f now is what? H comma k plus or minus c. Are you getting that? So which is what? F bracket h is what? 1 comma minus 2 plus or minus with 5. So you can separate it if you like. So IV, the next thing you are going to ask you is eccentricity E. E is equal to what? C over A, which is what? Root 5 over what? A is what? A is 3, root 5 over 3. So the next thing they can ask you is length of latus rectum. Length of latus rectum, which is what? 4b squared over what? Over A. Am I correct? Okay, 2b squared, not 4b squared, sorry. 2b squared over A, which is what? 2 bracket b squared. B squared is 4. All over A is 3, which is what? 8 over 3. So the next thing they are going to ask you is okay, equation of directrix VI. It's always 8 questions. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, length of equation of directrix. Equation of directrix. And I told the equation of directrix is always gotten from where? From the vertex. So vertex here. So I'll have that y, since it's equation, y is equal to what? K plus or minus a, but you must put over e. Okay, so I'm having that the equation is now y is equal to k is what? K is minus 2 plus or minus a is what? 3 divided by 5. 3 times on this one around, because e is this. So change divide 2 times, you have what? 3 over what? Root 5. So you're having that y is equal to minus 2 plus or minus 9 over root 5. So that is that. So the next thing they're going to ask you is the minor, semi-minor, major, and semi-major. So major axis. Major axis is what? Is 2a, which is what? 2 bracket 2. A is what? A is 3. So 2 bracket 3, which is what? 6. Semi major. Semi-major is just that A, which is what? 3. So the next one they'll ask is what? Minor axis. Minor axis is 2b, which is what? 2 bracket b is what? Where is my b? Okay, I've cleaned it. Okay, b is 4. B is 2, which is what? 2 times 2, 4. So the semi-minor. The semi-minor is what? Just the b, which is what? 2. So the next one, and the last one they're going to ask you is the conjugate. Conjugate of the equation. So the conjugate of the equation, I told you that if the equation is parallel to x, the conjugate will not be making it to be parallel to y. Just swap the denominator. So the conjugate should be x minus 2, you see, x minus x plus 2 all squared, all over, you will not put 9 here, plus y. Okay, let me first of all write the equation. Just swap the denominator of that equation we got. So y minus 1 all squared over what? 9 is equal to 1. So that is that. So sorry, over 4. So 9 was here before and 4 was here. So when you swap it, that is the conjugate. Because that is what will now make it to be parallel to what? X axis. Initially it was parallel to y. So the conjugate is making it to be parallel to x. So thank you very much for watching. And that is all about ellipse. In our next video, we'll now talk about tangent to an ellipse. But they don't normally ask that question because it takes time. But I'm going to do that. So we'll talk about hyperbola in our next video. Thank you.